Average brand new car trucks prices are going through the roof. Did you realize we just finally crossed over in June? The average truck sale costs over $75,000 in Canada. In the US side of the border, it's not far behind. So clearly the prices are going up. Is it ever going to end? Probably not for any time soon. Now we're looking at a bunch of Fords. We know that the prices keep going up and up and up, and there's some reasons for that, I truly believe. And clearly, forget about the shortages that we talked about, a year or two before. There's other things going on. I mean, look at this beauty right here. What do we have? A Ford F-150. This one here is an XLT, as we see right here, XLT. And we're looking at the sticker price of this vehicle. And it's a 23 model year. It's an F-150 Super Crew. As you can see, you have the full-size doors. But XLT isn't not. It's kind of middle of the road, lower end. And what we're actually looking at is a sticker price of about $76,000. And while there's a few options and features, it's a pretty standard looking rig. Well, what else do we have in the Ford world? And over here we have some nice trucks. These are Tremors. Quite the beautiful rigs here. As you can see, the Tremors, they have all the great decals and all of that. But there we have it. And this Tremor here is actually also features a 3.5 liter V6 EcoBoost. So it's a beautiful unit, all decked out nice with the big oversized tires. It's a great looking truck with the decals there and all the goodness. But this truck here, stickers at about $77,900. Yikes. Now in this Ford yard, we're looking at a lot of the fleet vehicles. Obviously we got 3/4 ton, 1 tons. I mean, look around, there's lots of trucks here, but these won't last long. And because a lot of these companies were looking to get fleet orders filled, it just basically means that most of these cars, most of these trucks will likely hit the road fairly soon. But it's not so much the same thing over on the retail side for Joe Blow, just looking for a regular pickup truck. But it's, again, not exclusively a problem that Ford's experiencing. This is something common to the big three. We talk about GM, Stellantis, as well as Ford. So on the regular pickup trucks, so the big boy trucks, the trucks that people just like to rip around in, as you can see, we've got a couple parked over there. We've got a whole row of F-150s, 3/4 ton pickup trucks. We've got a Tremor parked over here. And if you look, there's some big wagons here, and there's a whole row of trucks as you circle down there. And we can't forget about the front row here either. And this is actually a relatively small dealership, but they have no shortage of brand new trucks sitting on the lot ready to be bought. So you're probably wondering then, a lot of people are actually have asked me why, in fact, do we have so many trucks? If the buyers aren't there, interest rates are climbing, inflation's climbing, and yet these manufacturers are buying new trucks and loading up their car lots, so they have lots of inventory. Why is this happening? Well, and again, as I've said this about Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Stellantis products, as well as GM. They're all going through similar phenomenons, but there's a common denominator here. Well, a lot of the inventory was ordered in advance. The time was hot. People were buying lots of vehicles. Since then, those orders have been placed, and now we have lots of inventory. Of course, now we're in a place where people aren't buying. But the manufacturers are still digging in, getting the factory to pump out more. The dealers don't want more, but the manufacturers pushing them out the door. There's a big reason for that. And it might have something to do with the UAW coming up. So Chevy's dealing with similar issues. What we have here is a Chevy Silverado, absolutely beautiful truck. Let's look at the sticker on that and see how much this costs. Well, this one here is about $61,000, all dressed up. But as you can see, it's kind of a plain Jane looking unit, but it's a pretty truck. I mean, it does have the great wheels on it, and it's all black and shined up. And of course, we look here, Chevy's got lots of cars on their lots as well. And here's another one. There's a 5.3 liter V8, as we can see. And how about the sticker? The sticker on this one is about $67,000. Okay, so half-ton Pro 4x4 crew cab, pretty truck indeed. Absolutely nice there. And as I say, here's a bigger one. We're talking about a 6.2 liter, and it's a ZR2. How much is this one? Whoa, this one is what is that? $105,000, 263. Almost 106 grand for this truck. It's a crew cab. Yeah, it has all the off-road goodness. ZR2 6.2. It's got the bigger V8. It's a great truck, but that is a lot of money. And we have more 5.3s here and more 5.3s. And we know the 5.3s have had issues over the years, but there's no shortage of pickup trucks, and they're selling for top dollar. These manufacturers are selling, marking up. Every time I come here, every couple of months, prices seem to be creeping up. I mean, how much is this pretty little Yukon over here? This one here has an AT4, as you can see, AT4, it's the GMC, and we're looking at the Yukon XL right up there, 4-wheel drive AT4, and yeah, you have a lot of features. These ones are fairly loaded up. It's a beautiful rig, but it comes at a cost. And even these types of vehicles, based on a half-ton pickup truck, $94,000. So GM isn't doing anybody any favors. These vehicles are just going up in price. But it's not just Ford, it's not just Chevy. They're trying to get their money out of these vehicles because they know upcoming they're going to have more difficulty selling these trucks. And there's a key reason why. Maybe not so selling it, like selling these trucks is going to be a challenge, but actually having supply is going to be yet another challenge. And then over here, as you can tell in the Stellantis group, you have lots of Rams, slightly used, slightly new, but there's no shortage of new ones around here. As you circle around, you'll see there's lots of them as you go all the way down to the back lot. And there's lots of trucks here in the Dodge or the Ram lot here. Take a look. For those that just want to go out and want to have a truck to do little light chores or just drive around and go to the lake, look at all of these Rams here. Lots of them. It just goes around and around and around. And it just keeps going on and on and on. There's even more over here, more over here. This just doesn't end as you circle around. More over there and more over here. And then even more as we walk around the corner. There's no shortage of brand new Rams. They've ordered them up. They've had lots of stock, lots of inventory here. So we've got some sold trucks here. This one's a sold fleet. Obviously, it's more of a base model here. So there's fleet vehicles. We've got more fleet vehicles right there, as you can see, fleet. And then just everyday trucks for the everyday working person that just wants to have a pickup around the house. So no shortage of pickup trucks here. We've got trucks that are about $75,000. We have trucks that are about $80,000 right here. We have trucks that go all the way up to over $100,000. There's lots of high price trucks. Here's a base truck here. This one here is a little bit more affordable. That's probably about the only affordable one. And what we have is a Dodge Ram, and it's a classic right here. As you can see, you've got steel wheels on there, very basic plastic bumper on here. Very simple looking truck, no bottom running guards or any of that. It's a very simple, you have this top liner here, but not much going on there. Even the exhaust tips, you don't have the big exhaust tips on this truck. So this classic, as you see right here, is very basic, and this one's a little more affordable. But that's really just more of a work truck. I mean, that's very basic. And if you want something that at least dresses up a little bit, throw a $3,000 set of rims on there and it looks great. But the problem is all these manufacturers, Stellantis, Ford, GM, they're basically all in a rough spot because they've ordered lots of vehicles back when they thought they needed the inventory. People started slowing down the purchasing. And then, of course, now we have another situation that's brewing. The UAW is kicking into high gear, and there's talks, and I've talked to a couple of GMs in my space that said it sounds like they're leaning, the top three are all impacted by the UAW, the United Auto Workers Union, and there may, in fact, be a strike. If there's a strike, parts, vehicles are all going to be very hard to come by. So they're trying to bump up the number of vehicles and the days of supply that they actually have on the lot like this, because they're anticipating what's about to happen, and that's a big strike. And if that strike happens, gloves are off. You don't know how long, how bad, how intense, how deep that's going to cut. So every manufacturer from the three big ones that are affected by UAW, again, Stellantis, GM, and Ford, are all trying to ramp up, and they all have lots of inventory. And then the flip side is you say, well, why wouldn't they just notch their prices down? No, because in fact, that's something that Dodge has been doing, or Ram, and we know some of the other manufacturers are creeping prices up, because there's still that belief that if they don't have a maximum endless supply, then they want to maximize their profit margin. If they do happen to run out of stock, they want to make sure they're getting the most bang for your buck and the most dollars from every transaction. And that's just where things are at right now, unfortunately. So it doesn't matter which truck you're buying. A lot of these dealers are putting out market adjustments of $5,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 just to make sure that they get a little extra squeeze from their lemons. And so maybe the union doesn't go on strike, and maybe everything gets settled out and everybody's happy and they come to a 50-50 agreement. That still doesn't change the fact that the manufacturers and these vendors and Stellantis, Dodge, Ford, and Chevy and GM and all of those good timers are basically going to be in a place where they still have this inventory and they're still marking up their prices. And really at that point, then the market adjustment fees might kick into gear, but it might not. And that will be their bargaining chip. So they'll keep the market adjustment fees on there, and that will leave you in a place where you may be able to negotiate at least that down and get sticker for that new vehicle. I mean, who knows with the current truck trend, the way it's going. My old Ram right here that we're looking at here, this 2003 with a 4.7 V8, I might be able to get $40,000 for this truck, and it only has 150,000 kilometers on it. And who knows, just with the market is the way it is, you can almost ask kind of whatever you want, and somebody might actually buy that. At $75,000 average for the transactions up in June for a pickup truck, clearly prices have been going up steadily, month over month, year over year. And there doesn't seem to be a let up. The manufacturers are ruthless, they're relentless. They just are looking to get that margin out of every transaction. And if you can't get the margin, they'll try volume. But all of the big three manufacturers are trying to essentially put their vehicles on a little bit of a higher plateau and ask the dollars respectively for that. I mean, at the end of the day, even look at Toyota, the new Toyota Tundra. It's not uncommon to get a Tundra with the hybrid and the twin turbo V6 to get one of those units now over $100,000 Canadian. So 100 grand seems to be the new benchmark for the mid to upper level pickup truck now. I mean, that used to be a premium luxury Euro wagon, and now what we're finding is a lot of these mainstream pickup trucks with a set of rims and a flashy paint job, and bang, you're paying $90,000 or $100,000 Canadian, probably 10 grand less than that on the US market. Things are pricey. Yeah, they're getting great. Like, a lot of these new trucks are wonderful. They put great performance and they do great things. But the bottom line is, if you're trying to get yourself a deal, it's still a matter of waiting this out a little bit. And as inventory continues to drop, so wait to see what this UAW, this union strike, if it happens, that will be a trigger. Then what you do is you give that inherent delay, let the inventory dwindle a little bit, and then you might be in a better place to punch below the belt and get yourself a better deal. Because obviously, if you can get it closer to sticker, that's better. You also want to try to avoid some of these oddball add-ons that some of the manufacturers seem to be tacking on. So yeah, at the end of the day, wait it out a little bit and we'll see. But prices don't seem to be shedding and dropping anytime soon. Anyway, I hope that helps everybody. Give you a little bit of insight what's going on in the truck market. Please do be sure to hit that subscribe button down there. Really trying to build a channel. And yes, I am truly focused on something that's really passionate to me, and that's money, cars, and time. And really, we want to save money. We love cars. Don't waste all your time shopping and spending your cash and working an extra job to pay for that truck or car. Let's just do it right the next time. So hopefully, yeah, do be sure to subscribe. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.